So Salesforce will be publishing their earnings this week and give the earnings call. And a lot of investors are watching this company with a microscope because they want to know if this company really is executing well when it comes to the whole AI revolution. Because this company has been very vocal that they have made a lot of progress in AI. They have their whole kind of suite developed out, and a lot of companies are using Salesforce type of software to run their company. So when it comes to Salesforce, they say that everything that you want for a company, when it comes to operations, when it comes to accounting, when it comes to HR management, you can all do it inside our app. And this is a huge kind of benefit if you have a whole large firm. So let's say you work for you work in asset management, you work in banking, then you have different platforms, you have different systems for different teams, and these platforms do not communicate well with each other. So I worked in asset management myself, so I know how it is. So if you would talk to someone from accounting, they use a different software than you from operations or front office that of course uses Bloomberg, Refinitiv, and SP Global. So these kind of front-facing software. So Salesforce is telling you that, hey, we can integrate all of that into one software, maybe not the front office tools, but all the other things in operations like HR management, like accounting, like valuation, all these things will be inside the Salesforce platform. So what did they do? They developed this whole kind of top tier program, and they will be discussing that during the earnings calls. And then investors need to gauge, they need to tell if this company really is making progress or not. And everything will hinge, everything is dependent on the kind of sales that they have been making with their platform. So if they come out and they say there's a huge demand for our new AI model, and a lot of companies have been using it, and they're very glad, they really see the benefits of it, then this will be a huge boost to Salesforce. However, keep in mind that Snowflake and other kind of CRM kind of companies, so consumer management companies, are also doing the same thing. They're also doing the same thing. So this is something that you need to consider, that why would you invest in Salesforce compared to Snowflake, compared to UiPath, compared to all these other companies that want to integrate the whole operation chain in one company. So when it comes to earnings of Salesforce, keep in mind that what Salesforce did the last couple of months is they fired kind of all the engineers, they fired all the developers, and they only hired salespeople. They only hired people to push the program to the client. So they developed the whole program, and after that they say, hey, all the engineers, thank you for your help, but you're out. You have to go, and we're just going to push the program. So what if you look at the Reddit forum of Salesforce? So you really look at the people that deal with this program, you can say they're not really that happy because Salesforce is not really delivering on their promise. They say, hey, we have this full integration suite of everything, you can do everything using our platform. However, it isn't really like that because every company has different needs. Every company has different desires. So you cannot really map that into one program that's going to be fully functioning, tailored to your needs. So that's why you call Salesforce. However, Salesforce doesn't have the engineers on staff anymore. They fired all them. So who you get to speak to is some kind of salesperson who's going to say, hey, you need to upgrade to the newer model, and then everything will work for your company. This is, of course, not very helpful to the people that bought Salesforce programs. So this is something that you need to consider. This is something that you need to look at. If you look at the sales, if you look at the increase in sales of Salesforce numbers, that is it really going up because they are pushing the program, or is it going up because of just the marketing of it? And once this hype dies down, Salesforce will be done. So this is something that is very important to earnings. Now, if you look at the numbers itself, Salesforce has been doing well. However, this is the one thing that's keeping the stock price down. This is something that's suppressing the stock price because people are just tempering their expectation. They say, we see Salesforce is doing well in AI. However, they're not the only one. There's a lot of competition. And is it really a helpful program, or is it just like the other ones? And is it just some kind of marketing kind of competition that they have with Snowflake, that they have with other companies that are pushing these programs? So this is what you need to consider when it comes to Salesforce and how I would play this. So when it comes to earnings, I have no position in this company right now, but I would greatly consider this point that I made, that if you look on the Reddit forum, if you look at the sales people that have bought Salesforce product, you can tell that they're really not that happy. So this is something that you need to consider.